David McLean traveled to 3 different cultures of longevity, which included Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, and Loma Linda, California. He spent time in each of these places and tried to learn about their cultures of longevity. He learned about what it is they are doing to live vital and healthy lives well into their hundreds. The first longevity hotspot he traveled to was Sardinia, Italy. What is phenomenal about this region is that men are living just as long as women. Science isn't exactly quite sure why, but one theory is that it is because the women wear the pants, and that men have less stress as a result. Also, the Sardinians have a fanatical zeal for the family. David witnessed one family of 4 generations coming together to share a giant meal, which they do every weekend. David reflected, "This is what being alive and having a family is all about. This social component of longevity is incredibly important." However, the cultures of longevity in Sardinia are rapidly disappearing. Unfortunately, the Sardinians are moving away from traditional, natural food and are leading a more sedentary lifestyle. He spent time with a woman who was almost 100 and her great-granddaughter. Later that day, he saw that same great-granddaughter eating potato chips and wondered, will the next generation live as long? Okinawa is an archipelago in the far south of Japan. It is home to the longest-lived people on Earth. There, David met numerous people who were into their hundreds, and they were leading active and very healthy lifestyles. The 90-year-olds were biking and fishing 8 miles offshore using old diving techniques on the reef. He met an amazing woman who was over 100. She had been in a moai. The rough translation of the word is a group of friends who go through life together and help each other. David believes the energy and vitality that they would get from that factored into the longevity equation. The Okinawans have a wonderful word called ikigai. It translates roughly into the reason for which you wake up in the morning. All of the centenarians had ikigai, yet another reason why so many Okinawans are living so long. One of the cornerstones of Okinawan longevity is caloric restriction. Yet, interestingly, they are eating a lot of food. The trick is that the foods they are eating are all low in caloric density. The food included beautiful miso soups filled with carrots, seaweed, onions, and potatoes. Like the Sardinians, the Okinawans grew most of the food themselves in their gardens. They go to the store for very little. Still, Okinawa is losing its longevity edge. Okinawa has the highest rate of obesity in all of Japan. For David, this was quite shocking and somewhat disturbing to see this culture of longevity disappearing right before his eyes. By far the most surprising fact that David took away from this story was that Seventh-day Adventists outlived their American counterparts by about 10 years. What are they doing? Quite simply, the Seventh-day Adventists, who largely populate Loma Linda, California, have a religion that reinforces positive, healthy behaviors. For example, if you are a devout Seventh-day Adventist, you are a vegetarian, non-drinker, non-smoker, who takes a Sabbath every Saturday, where for one whole day you have to just unplug. So he met many incredible people there. The most incredible by far was a woman who had just turned 100 and renewed her driver's license. Before he could go with her for a cruise, she had to go through her morning routine, where she lifts weights and rides a stationary bike. Interestingly, the Seventh-day Adventists are the only culture of longevity that he visited who are not losing their longevity edge. While photographing a baptism at the church, David remembers thinking, wow, this is the perfect example of how this religion is still growing and carrying forward.